What's up, beautiful people? It's Sindafam. Welcome to the channel. Today we have this very interesting video, and it's titled "Douglas Murray Reveals Bizarre Proposal He Put to Vivek Ramaswamy." Okay, awesome. I'm excited to check this one out because I love hearing Douglas Murray speak as well as Vivek Ramaswamy speak. So yeah, this looks really interesting to check out. Let's check it out.
As we do every week, it's time to speak to one of the finest thinkers of his generation, the best-selling author of groundbreaking works including The War on the West, The Strange Death of Europe, and The Madness of Crowds. Douglas Murray, we have a lot to discuss today, from the tyranny of the minority to Sleeping Beauty. But let's start with another Trump indictment, this time in Georgia. We have spoken in recent months about the dangers of the Justice Department becoming weaponized to attack a political candidate. And we've seen this in the justice system over and over again, what are considered by many to be bogus charges. And I think this week's developments help explain why only 2 in 10 Americans have a great deal of confidence in the US Justice Department. And among Republicans, Douglas, the figure is even less.
That's right, Rita. I mean, it's a very, very dangerous corner for America, this, isn't it? I mean, the indictments against Trump are obviously, they're obviously sort of coming one by one. There's a sort of drip feed of them. And I think the hope of Trump's opponents in the Republican Party as well as in the Democrat Party is that they're going to just mount up. That irrespective of whether or not any one of them leads to actual prosecution, there's just going to be such a mountain of them by the time the primary season really begins that voters are just going to be turned off. But here's the complexity of that corner. A new poll out today shows Trump in even more of a lead in the Republican field than he's been to date. And so the question really is, like, why is there no impact from these mounting indictments? And I think it goes to what you've just said, Rita, that there is just such distrust, particularly among Republican voters, of the idea that justice in America today is actually blind.
Well, I think we saw that early on with the very first indictment with those FBI raids over the documents, because at that time DeSantis and Trump were neck and neck, and as soon as that occurred, Trump shot ahead, and DeSantis is really trailing him terribly. It's hard to see how he's going to make up that ground. Now, let's remind folk of who the foreperson of that special grand jury in Georgia was.
But honestly, I kind of wanted to subpoena the former president because I got to swear everybody in. And so I thought it'd be really cool to get 60 seconds with President Trump of me looking at him and being like, "Do you solemnly swear?" and me getting to swear him in. I kind of just thought that would be an awesome moment.
Oh dear, that was Emily Cause, the Georgia grand jury foreperson. Now, moving along to another presidential candidate, another outsider, Vivek Ramaswamy, who gave a masterclass in how to handle the LGBTQIA lobby. Here he is confronted by a pansexual reporter. Watch this interaction.
I'm personally pansexual, so I was just wondering what your views on same-sex couples were.
I don't have a negative view of same-sex couples, but I do have a negative view of a tyranny of the minority. So I think that in the name of protecting against a tyranny of the majority, and there are times in this country's history where we have had a tyranny of the majority, we have now, in the name of protecting against tyranny of the majority, created a new tyranny of the minority. And I think that that's wrong. I don't think that somebody who's religious should be forced to officiate a wedding that they disagree with. I don't think somebody who is a woman who's worked really hard for her achievements should be forced to compete against a biological man in a swim competition. I don't think that somebody who's a woman that respects her bodily autonomy and dignity should be forced to change clothes in a locker room with a man. That's not freedom, that's oppression.
Yes.
And Douglas, he went on to explain why this tyranny of the minority is particularly dangerous for children. How did you see that encounter?
I thought it was fascinating, Rita. Firstly, because this woman saying I'm a pansexual. She's probably used to that making people bow down to her as a sort of goddess Gaia-like figure. You know, oh, pansexual. Oh, how interesting you must be. Oh my. And of course, she's also used to the fact that really saying that at the opening is a type of way to try to make the person who is your interlocutor into your hostage. I'm a pansexual. You know, what have you got to say about that? And she's hoping that the politicians are going to go, I can't believe you love everything, like want to have sex with trees, whatever pansexuals means this week. Sure. They just hope that it's going to make them into a hostage. And Vivek Ramaswamy is far too clever for that. I know him. I've done events with him. I've spoken with him. On many occasions, he's very smart.
Yes.
And what he did there was expert, in my opinion.
Yes, exactly.
Expert in making sure he wasn't taken hostage by this clear political activist. Secondly, by explaining the problem that he has, and basically the majority of us have, with this weird alphabet soup clown car thing. And thirdly, by doing so in a courteous manner. It's something very interesting about Ramaswamy. He's thought his way through all of these issues. He's got a very clear way of explaining things. And as long as somebody is courteous to him, he's courteous back. And it's very interesting that somebody who's such an outsider when he started is now number 3 in the polls and catching up with DeSantis fast.
It's astonishing how well he's done, because as intelligent as he is, you think he's got zero chance, but he's getting through, and even that interaction ended on a lovely note with I think the reporter.
And by the way,
God.
And by the way, I should mention, Rita, that when I was last on a stage with Vivek in Washington earlier this year, I did say to him that I wanted the deal that I always ask of politicians, which is that if he does make it to president, I want a special portfolio in his government, which is Minister of Education, Public Enlightenment, and also War.
And war? Not asking much, Douglas. Not asking much at all.
I think it would add a certain piquancy to my dealing with the teachers' unions.
I endorse this. I'm backing this 100%.
Oh my goodness, my 2 favorite commentators and hosts so far. I mean, who doesn't love Rita on the show? Oh my God, this is amazing. It's so good. I love her. I love the way she speaks. Let's just talk about Douglas for a minute. Douglas, like, the way he dissected everything is just so hilarious. So, like, I couldn't even hold it, because, listen, we all know how much Douglas would call it a spade and just go to the point, explain it and say it as it is. Like, he doesn't care, and he's just going to say it as it is. And that's the truth. I mean, what Vivek did right there is very clever. He was straight to the point, explained the mission, and spoke, and he was very cordial while explaining and talking with the lady, because because of course these people, this is what they usually do. They want to oppress you. They want to they want to use whatever they identify with and put you in a box or conform you to thinking the exact way they think without you airing your own opinion. But it was a good thing that she met somebody like Vivek, and Vivek Ramaswamy, is not one that you want to conform and put in the box. He's always going to be out front, out in the open, and share his opinion and share his views. And this is where I stand. This is what I think. And what he said and what he spoke right there, lots of you would agree with me that Vivek spoke our mind, because of course what they are doing is oppression, is a form of oppression, and no one is talking about it. No one is saying that it is wrong to what they're doing. I mean, whatever you want to identify with, you can as well identify with whatever you want to identify without forcing people to believe in whatever, in your whatever identification scheme or whatever it is. I mean, we come on, make it make sense. But yeah, Douglas saying that Vivek should give him the ministerial position as education. Well, that is quite interesting, and we all are amazed by how Vivek is rising fast, because lots of people never believed in Vivek when he first started running, when he first joined the race. But you can see how he's rising. But also, let us talk about Donald Trump's fourth indictment, because apparently it seems like regardless of all of these things that are coming and surfacing with Trump, he's still rising and is still topping the chart. But yeah, what are your thoughts about Donald Trump and his fourth indictment? Because it's crazy what is going on, and it seems like some people want to be told, some people are accountable for something, and while they don't want to be held accountable for something that they've done, but they also want to point the other finger and be like, oh, this is the mistake you did, so you gotta be held accountable, while myself, I don't want to be held accountable. But yeah, I really love to hear your thoughts and your contribution regarding Trump fourth indictment and Vivek's speech regarding Vivek's speech in Iowa fair regarding the pansexual individual. Yeah, I would also love to hear your thoughts and your contribution regarding Vivek running for the presidential race, because as it stands, he's currently topping the chart. He's climbing. The more he goes to these events and goes for interviews and speech and everything, it's more exciting and more interesting, and everybody is finding him really interesting to listen to. So I would really love your thoughts and your contribution regarding Vivek Ramaswamy for the presidential race. What are your thoughts and your views about him? What was your first views and opinion where you heard or saw Vivek Ramaswamy's name running for the 2024 presidential race? But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment down below. I really love to read from you. You can share all the useful information you think might be really helpful. And until next time, see you in the next video.